Hello and welcome to another episode of the DewatchPod podcast. I am Jorgen Smorgasbord.
And I am Jim with a G, and we are here, unshackled from Black Mirror.
That's right. We are free, very much, from that sort of looming darkness that was the mirror and the phone in the analogy.
And now we have used that freedom to get into a sort of bleak sci-fi thriller-esque situation.
Yeah.
We really reached very far from our origin.
Yeah, no,
here.
we're stepping out of our comfort zone.
We're spreading our wings.
We're experiencing new and exciting types of media because this one is about as long as a longer Black Mirror episode.
That's right. But, and you might say, wow, this has some similarities to Black Mirror, but don't worry, this one is about a robot girlfriend and how technology can go wrong.
That's right. We have watched Companion.
Yes, and this is the start of our what we have generously dubbed our robot fucker arc.
Yeah, the robot fucker season.
Which is not going to be a particularly long season.
No,
Not
it's
because-
a trilogy.
Not because there isn't content out there for it, excuse me, but because we gotta put a lid on it at some point.
Yeah.
But shall we indulge in the olden ways of giving our listeners a should they watch or should they not?
Yeah. No. Yes.
Yeah, I'd say so too.
Good movie.
All right, it's solid.
And with that recommendation, we package it with our customary content warnings.
Yes.
This movie contains such things as violence.
Gore.
Editing Jorgen here, adding content warnings for sexual assault and suicide also.
Mind control.
And an abusive relationship or two or three.
Yeah, definitely one. Definitely two. The third one, it's up there.
It's weirder.
Yeah. But yes, shall we delve into what this initial episode of the Robot Fucker season has to tell us?
Indeed. And just a little heads up, dear listeners. We've switched up the formula a little bit. Because these three movies are movies that I have seen, but Jim hasn't.
That is correct. I have very little interest in fucking robots, and I will leave implications about Jorgen unspoken.
Cool.
We planned to mention this. We did not agree to mention it like that.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no, I sure love those sexy metal curves.
Ooh, yes.
Ooh, Atomic Heart? What a hot game. I sure enjoyed iRobot more than I ought to. Actually, that is technically true because I was very young and I was like, this movie is intelligent.
Yeah, I mean, same. Look, we're gonna skip over this very shortly, but you have to give that movie credit for a robot telling Will Smith, "Hey, you suck at art."
I don't remember anything about that movie.
Also fair.
Now, Companion, in very short, is a movie about a guy named Josh and his girlfriend Iris going on a retreat.
To a shady Russian millionaire's lake house.
Yeah, Sergey, played by Rupert Friend. Who you might recognize from playing a crazy Russian in Death of Stalin. Which must have been why they cast him for this. There's no other plausible explanation why Rupert Friend gets both of these roles.
Crazy Russian is pretty much a characterization of our dear Sergey, plus misogynist, but...
Yeah. And after a little bit of setting up Chekhov's wall of guns, Josh is like, "Hey Iris, why don't you go ahead to the lake? I'm a bit hungover on this beautiful morning." And she's like, "I can wait. We can have sex in the shower." And Josh is like, no, uncharacteristically,
Yes.
I'm not horny right now.
Why
don't you go ahead? Don't check your pockets. And in a series of events, which amount to Sergey trying to sexually assault Iris, at the egging on of off-screen... Oh, shit, is she called Eve?
The
friend.
The friend... Katie?
Cat.
Cat, yeah.
Cat. Man, love me some 3 character names.
I'm just gonna pull my phone up, so...
Yeah. But at the egging on of Cat, he's like, oh yeah, no, I can have sex with you. This is normal. And he gets stabbed.
Yep.
After a scuffle. And we cut ahead and sort of get this in flashbacks. And then Iris shows up in the living room, just drenched in blood. Like a very comical, like an absolutely like staggering amount. Like this...
She has the vibe of someone who was setting up Halloween decorations and something detonated when it should not have.
Yeah, no, this is like, not quite Carrie, but in the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And, more or less, this is when, after like a heated conversation, Josh goes, Iris, go to sleep. And for the first time on screen, we realize that, oh, she's a robot, and that's her going to sleep password, inventively.
Yeah.
And Josh is like, all right, listen, I just gotta say goodbye to her before we give her to the factory. And Iris is at this point learns that she is a robot, has an absolutely terrible time. And after Josh like fucks off for a bit, she's tied to a chair. She cuts herself loose and runs away, taking Josh's phone that controls her with her.
Yeah. Do you want to point out? She does like a martial arts move on him. It's real cool.
Yeah.
And then she's off, and we get, I guess this is where we get like the sort of instigating plot of how we got here, right? Like this is where Josh is like, hey, so me and Kat, we were thinking...
oh yeah, there's a... We haven't set this up yet. Guillermo from What We Should Do in the Shadows is here. And he has a robot boyfriend as well.
Yes, and they have a very... They detail their meet cute and everything.
Yeah, and Kat and Josh have, in fact, conspired to use Iris to murder Sergei. And now that that's gone a bit wrong, they're like, hey, Guillermo. I don't remember his actual character's name.
Eli.
Oh, yeah.
It's Eli and Patrick.
All right. Eli has gotten in on the plan, and Patrick sort of stands there because he's a robot.
Yeah. And
he is like just an archetypal himbo.
It's very strong himbo vibes, and it works so well. But yeah, notably also, Kat was Sergei's girlfriend, mistress, I guess, technically.
Yeah.
And so, like, they're like, okay, now that he's dead, let's open the vault with, like...
$12 million.
$12 million in cash.
Yeah.
What a guy.
And then they go to hunt down Iris.
And there's a series of little misadventures. Eli dies.
Yeah, Eli has a heart-to-heart with Patrick, in which Patrick confesses that he knows he's a robot. Eli goes, shit, I love you anyway, it is time for me to get shot while hunting Iris.
Through the heart. Also, speaking of the heart-to-heart.
Yeah, shot through the heart.
And Iris is to play. So, and the chase continues. Iris...
Iris gets away. Iris steals Josh's car by imitating his voice, by changing her voice modulator, and gets away. And doesn't get that far because Josh just gets his other phone and is like, my car's stolen, can you stop my car? And
Iris meets a cop, and there's also one little like Chekhov's gun that gets more and more fired over the course of this movie, is that the robots cannot lie. So when the cop like approaches her, she's like, I'm gonna set my settings so that I speak German and not English.
Yeah, which like also just her... I appreciate that this is just an actress who was given an assignment. Her German is not very good. Like whoever like they got in to like get her to say some phonetic German, I don't know if they did get that person in actually.
Can I ask, because I do not speak German, is it understandable?
I don't know. Like,
Okay.
it's genuinely just like an English person, like, reading German without, like, knowing how the letters form sounds.
Okay. Sorry, this is just like, because I've had an experience of someone trying to speak Swedish in a Netflix show, and until I put on subtitles, I did not realize it was even an Indo-European language.
Yeah, no, like, I don't think they got a language code for this part.
Fair.
They also like cycle through a bunch of other language settings earlier.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, in the meantime, Josh is like, well, I don't want to deal with this situation. What I'm going to do is steal Eli's robot boyfriend, who is catatonic over losing his lover. And it is conveyed to us very, very strongly that what these robots have very real feelings and extremely intense feelings, specifically about the person they're a companion to.
Yeah, there's, I want to say, like, there's a lot of little flourishes I do like in this movie, and one of them is that, like, they get a programmed meet cute, and when Eli dies, and Josh is like, I guess I'll take over as this robot's lover, so I can use him as a Terminator, he gets replaced in the meet cute. It's just, it's good.
Yeah.
And Patrick is now the Terminator.
Yeah, Patrick is now the Terminator, and like during this sort of comedic cop scene, where Iris has failed, like the fifth speech check after succeeding the prior four, and just like don't do it like that. It's not how you should implement success.
Thank you, game design jargon. Notably, the cop sees a really bloody knife.
Yeah. And he's like, I'm going to arrest you now. And while Iris is being arrested, Patrick is just walking
Terminator walking
in the background. And they like doing like the shots with the actual, like there's like some horror grammar in here.
Oh yeah, quite a bit.
Where they're just like, oh yeah, no, the actual threat is out of focus, but it's certainly also center frame. And Patrick just absolutely bludgeons this cop to death, and brings him and Iris back to the lake house, where all of this is set. This is set in the lake house, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't know if we mentioned that.
I mean, we did it in the Russian.
Yeah, and Josh just sort of accidentally murks Kat by telling Patrick to stop her while Patrick is still on kill mode.
Yeah, notably, like, so part of this is that Patrick, like, modded Iris to have a higher aggression, like, and self-defense meter, and when he mods Patrick, he just goes, screw it, 100%.
Yeah.
And this is very obvious in how Patrick chooses to take on any further problem.
Yeah, no, he bludgeons, he knifes, just absolutely zero compunction.
Oh yeah.
And he's just still, his affect is flatter now, but he's still got like the gentle himbo, sort of sensibility about him while doing all these things.
But yes, Kat goes down after trying to be like, this is fucked, I'm just out of here.
Yeah, and after the movie at this point is, now, look here, this is our thesis statement, by the way. As Kat, like, was just stabbed and dying, like, slumps next to Iris on the couch.
Yeah. And
just stares out the window and remarks upon the weather, much like Iris does, continuously. And that's that. And at this point, Josh is having Iris, like, chained up at dinner while he's getting served by Patrick. And he's like, he loses the verbal sparring and is like, you know what? I'm just going to twiddle some dials and just have you burn yourself, actually.
Yeah. It's an interesting little scene, but yeah, like I think this is honestly where we get the thesis statement, like where he's sitting there and he's being like, I deserve better. I'm a good guy.
Yeah.
It has.
It's the other half, I would say.
Yeah, it's got USS Callister into Infinity vibes.
Yeah, no, they're drawing from very much the same pool of
Absolutely.
ideas. And, this goes on for a bit. He has her shoot herself in the head with, there's just this one very large gun in the movie.
Yes.
Huge. It's like a revolver. It's like the kind of thing you think of when you think of a large revolver. That is the gun.
Yes, it's very blocky. It's a showpiece, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, so she gets shot. She's out. Josh calls the tech company who provided him his robot girlfriend to pick him up, and he's not doing a great job explaining what happened. But the techs are just like, okay, dude.
Yeah, and this is very clearly played as they know and don't care that he's full of shit.
Yeah.
And they're just gonna do their job and take the robot away and not interact further with the situation. But sort of on their way out, they explain to Josh oh no, all the information about what has happened is safe because the important information is in her belly. Not in her head. That's
the head is just a Wi-Fi antenna.
And some sensors. So that's fine.
And we recorded everything, so don't worry. And the moment they leave the room, he goes like, what do you think was up with that? And the one of the tech guys goes just like, oh yeah, he's full of shit. He's obviously insane. What a weirdo.
Yeah, no, I don't want to know. He's just fucked. We're gonna get his data and he's fucked. That's great. And
then
unfortunately,
Terminator.
Yeah, they get terminated. And they get terminated hard. Though one of the techs scrambles into the forest and he just runs away scrambling, falls into the big pit of bodies that is so close to the house.
Oh yeah.
So close.
They had a lake.
Yeah. Well, I feel like lake is a bit more challenging to pull off, but who's to say, really? And yeah, no, just strong moment. If you fall into a corpse pit, you've just made a lot of poor decisions leading up to that
It's
moment.
an unfortunate situation to be in, to look around and only see corpses.
Yeah, and
meanwhile, Iris is being rebooted in, just automatically inside of the tech van. And
as Terminator Patrick is just choking the second tech guy up against a tree because he's out of bullets, Iris shows up and he's like, I will focus on you now because this guy is entirely out. And she cannot hurt him. She has a zappy stick and she realizes, oh no, her settings are back to default. And default is not killing people. Which Patrick remarks upon, and it is at this point that she easily dismantles Josh's extremely flimsy lies that he has told Patrick to get him to do all of this.
Yeah.
And
convinces Patrick to kill himself.
Well, no, right? Because suicide content warning. We'll add that.
Oh yeah.
But no, specifically what she does is she just explains to him the situation, and he looks at a pit full of corpses, sees his dead love from before he was reset and who he spent actual years with, and is like, fuck, and just grabs that shock stick and just fries his brains.
Yeah. This leaves Iris and one of the tech guys, and Iris is like, I think I'm gonna need a favor from you. And then we have very strongly horror-coded final big scene.
Yeah, Josh isn't even... Josh is fully, delegation pilled. He's like, oh, yeah, no, this is fine. Putting robots on tasks has never gone wrong before. I'm not going to keep tabs on the situation. I'm just going to grab all this money. And then Iris shows up and like does a little bit of like spooky horror stuff around the house and holds him at gunpoint. And it is at this point that we reach the final confrontation. Because Josh calls her bluff. Yes, she has gotten the tech guy to make her fully autonomous, presumably including taking off her kill switch again.
Yeah.
Which, like, if I were that tech guy, I would at least, like, think a little bit before doing that. But then again, you know...
He's been in a stressful situation and has been saved. I think there's enough there. And he seems like kind of like a chill guy otherwise.
He doesn't get that much characterization, to be fair. But yeah, no. But Josh just calls her bluff and is like, yeah, but you love me, actually. I'm going to take this gun and just like... and this is like where he shows like his darkest colors. And just like fully like... canned abusive boyfriend lines. You love me. I'm just going to need you to tell me that you love me. I don't care if you're lying, and then I'm going to kill you. And this is like quite gripping and pleasant and intense. And it culminates with Iris being held at gunpoint and then just killing Josh with an automatic corkscrew to the brain.
This movie likes its gore.
Yeah.
I think is the very simple way to put that. And yeah, like that's kind of it, right? Like Iris does get to leave. Yeah. And I think one thing we haven't mentioned, but the movie starts with a monologue where she talks about like you kind of go through life with this like haze, and then for me there are two moments where like the haze lifted. It was when I met Josh and when I killed him. And this gets repeated here, in a much, like, you know, because the original scene is her meet cute that actually never happened with Josh. And this final scene is her walking through this destroyed house, including Josh's corpse.
Yeah. And to be clear, good on her.
Yeah, good job.
No, this movie is about how men treat women. Especially when they have no constraints on them. And we get like credits as she's driving away with another car that was just there all along, and clearly doesn't need voice activation or something. She waves her cool robot hand at an exact copy of herself who has just like a lot of makeup and different hair, so we didn't clock that.
Well, I was uncertain.
We
had to look it up.
And she drives off into the sunset. Figuratively only, it's brightest day.
Importantly, this movie has a banger soundtrack. And that's where we finish off.
And
there's a lot of very straightforward stuff about this movie. I don't. So I wanna just sort of elucidate one part of my experience, which was the first like 15 to 20 minutes, and like obviously I knew we were going into this and as the Robot Fucker trilogy, so I knew at least someone was going to be a robot, and it seemed natural that it'd be her. They really lay it on thick. There's a lot of like, oh, you know, like it's just like I think this is what I was built for, and like. There's a lot, like, there's the cat at one point has a conversation with Iris where she's like, just like, it's not you that I don't like, it's the concept of you. It makes me feel replaceable. And obviously this has the most immediate sense of, like, she's a robot. That's why they keep kind of using words such as built and stuff like that. But is there also the greater thing about this movie, like about its, you know, gender politics, right? Like, and about the idea of like domestic abuse, and I think in this case, like it has something more interesting to say about how women are shaped to like by media, by culture, etc., to center men, right? I think that is kind of like one of the core concepts. So like I found myself struggling a little bit at this movie with just how heavily it was like, it wasn't saying she's a robot, but it sure was hinting at it so heavily that like I think even if you were just watching the movie for the first time and like someone just put it on while you were there, it would feel very straightforward that was what the reveal was going to be. And I think it's like around the 30-minute mark or something that they probably pull it off.
I think so.
Yeah.
They take like a bit longer than you'd think.
Yes.
Because of course the twist they're actually doing is she's a robot and she's just killed someone gruesomely.
Oh yeah. But yeah, like it feels weird, this movie, in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of it does come from our watching Black Mirror. Because I feel there's just a lot of similar sort of like sentiments echoed throughout, right? Like about like the male entitlement of Josh being a very prominent one, but like the fucking curveball is the gay couple, right? Because like, okay, if you're sitting down and you're being like, I'm gonna do Stepford Wives, but a new one, and one that has a lot more gore, like. You go, okay, there's a man, he feels entitled to the love of, like, the love and servitude, I should say, of, like, a woman in his life, and he really feels like, oh, other people are mean to me, and I deserve better, so I deserve to have a domestic slave, right? Like, very straightforward. Obviously, like, this movie's very straightforward in the way that it's just like, yeah, obviously, you shouldn't do this. This fucking sucks. It sucks that women are pressured to be like this. It sucks that men feel entitled to this sort of, like, unquestioning servitude. And then you throw in the gay couple, where one of them is a robot. And that one is... I don't know what to think about it. Because we have this moment between Guillermo and Patrick in the forest, where he's like, I know I'm a robot... but I don't think you would do that to me. And Guillermo goes like, of course I wouldn't. And like, there's a part of me, right, where goes like, you are, in no uncertain terms in the language of this film, a slave owner going, of course I wouldn't hurt you, my slave. And obviously, Patrick has done nothing to indicate that he's actually going against, like, Guillermo's commands or, like, wishes. In fact, in many ways, I think that by, like, revealing, I know I'm a robot and I still want to stay with you, it's kind of playing into Patrick's more like, Eli's, Guillermo's, we should not have done it like this.
No, that was foolish.
The actual character's name is Eli. He plays Guillermo in a different show. He's going to be Guillermo from here on out.
It's Harvey Guillén is the actor.
Yes, that's right. But yeah, like I think Guillermo has a much more romantic idea about having a relationship with a robot, right? And that's...
Well, it's interesting, right? Because the difference between that we're given to understand between Eli and Josh is primarily like how long they've had their companion robots, right? That is the like objectively clear difference between them. And there is also some indication that I don't know, I guess it's entirely left to the viewer, more or less, like the nature of Eli and Patrick's relationship, right? Because like Patrick is cooking.
Yeah.
He is like he does do like house servant duties.
Yeah.
And he is also like conversationally sidelined
Yes.
most of the time. Much like Iris is, right? Where that's sort of the similarities were given to pick up on between them before any reveals, is that they're the only two people who actually like sincerely like experience and believe in love, and they are sidelined in more or less because of this, right? Like,
yeah, it's like the rest of the group has like this air of cynicism of looking down upon that
deeply,
and that's obviously very understandable, specifically because like, oh, love is real coming from the robot designed to believe in love, right? Like, But I think the interesting comparison, right, is like there's a couple of comments on this throughout the movie. Notably, Patrick is an older model. Like, there's a point where it's made, like, you could have replaced him years ago, and Eli's like, fuck you. Of course I wouldn't. He's my boy. He's my Patrick.
Yeah, no, so, yeah, and it's about, like, it's about this deeply strange idea of, like, sentimentality and ownership and sort of the relationship we have to, I like in parts of the movie, like the robots are not people.
Yeah.
Like in this part of the logic, right? Because these are individuals who do not see the robots as people, and to be clear, like they more or less are.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a spectrum there, but yeah,
they essentially are, right? In like some very important in the important ways, but. Without believing that, we still arrive at...
Sorry, our dear podcat is being extraordinarily cute.
Hello, handsome. But yeah, no, like, they're at best, like, seen like pets, right? That is sort of the... Yes.
Inspired by something, perhaps.
Yeah, maybe. Right, but that's sort of the weirdness of it, because like, that is sort of the like the development in Patrick and Eli's relationship is that like Eli realizes like I've built all of this attachment, and for it to like be deeply meaningful, I need to believe that there's like equality here, right? Like he says like, oh, I love you, and that's an insane thing to say, but I do, right? So like, I guess like one of these sort of like, not even parts of the thesis, but one of these sort of axioms of this movie is that love can only exist between equals.
Yeah, I would push back on that, because like I think that. Sorry, I'm gonna sound like fucking Jordan Peterson here for a moment, but that depends on how you define love.
Yeah.
Like I think so I wanna flag something too about Patrick and Eli compared to Josh and Iris, which is the sexuality, and I don't mean sexual orientation. I mean like the presence of sex as part of their relationship. Because now, notably, we can maybe make a guess here, like regarding the fact that Patrick and Eli do not mention them having sex at all. And sure, maybe that's like we want to be less physical with our gay characters. That's just a common thing that happens in films and movies and so on and so forth. But I actually think this is kind of meaningful, because Josh and Iris, is there a moment in a movie where they kiss?
Yes. I think like Shit, I'm trying to remember, but I think
there might be, but like I can't help but notice that the focus in their relationship seems much more obviously sexual, right?
Yes.
Like much more front. Like one of Josh's first lines in the movie is asking like, "Oh, you had a dream? Was it about us having sex?" And like, there's multiple propositions. There's like he calls her a fuckbot, etc., etc.
Yeah.
This does not show up in Patrick and Eli's relation.
Yeah.
Like they have a passionate makeout scene, but there's nothing that says like, "Yeah, also we bang." And I think that's interesting, just in like how that colors our perceptions of these two relationships.
Yeah, and like they leverage this very purposefully, because like we are given to like see Josh's like desire as something like quite gross.
Yeah.
Right? Like we have like at some point there's just like a smash cut to him like doing like a unpleasant groan.
The worst orgasm you've ever seen.
Yeah, and like this, you know, we're not a sex negative podcast.
No.
But that is what the movie is putting down. The movie is putting down this guy is horny and sleazy and gross.
Yeah, and
right?
like
there's no.
The other part I think is Iris's reaction, because she is laying on her back completely still.
Yeah.
it's uncomfortable, and it's supposed to be, and they do it well, and then like, you know, he turns his back to her after he's come and just go to sleep.
Yeah. After she like tries to have like a
the smallest amount of pillow talk imaginable.
Yeah, and like it tries to have like an earnest conversation.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting because like despite that, like what she's saying is like, I'm so glad we came here. So it's like, oh, this is rough.
Yeah,
and I think like this is kind of part of why I think that the discussion about love is interesting here, because there's that final scene where it's like, you still love me, and like I think this movie does a genuinely quite a good exploration of the fact that you can be in an abusive relationship, you can be in a relationship where your partner is actively disrespectful to you, it like hurts you, harms you, keeps things from you, whatever, and still have the emotion of love. And that sucks. Like, that's unfortunate. It'd be great if, like, the moment you rationally conclude this relationship is bad for me, the emotions go away and you can act rationally from there on out. Not how reality works, unfortunately.
No, but, like, I do, like... So, I guess... But I do think that there's, like, something about the idea of love between equals being, like, just entirely different than, like, the sort of, like, I guess, like, unrequited love, really. Right, and that's a tension that the movie, like, likes to play with, because we do just, like, get this moment of, like, two people, the only people who are like managing to like level with each other are just like for a split second Eli and Patrick.
Yeah.
And like that's it's quite like I think we are very much meant to take this like as like earnest, despite the like underlying imbalance.
I think that one is particularly like, I think that might be the single most interesting part of this movie to me, because you can, I think there's a point you can make here about like Patrick and Eli. Like, Eli still owns Patrick.
Yeah.
Like, he could, the moment Patrick does something he does not like, go and change the settings of his lover. And whether or not he uses it, that's secondary.
Yeah.
But he has still convinced himself that this is love. And maybe it is. Like this is a genuinely complicated emotional situation, I think.
Yeah.
But like I at least feel like no one can come out of this scene being like, this is complete and unambiguous true love. Right? Because again, like, I think the interesting part there is just the part where like Patrick hasn't done anything that goes against Eli's wishes.
Yeah.
Which I think is another aspect of like, and again, there's nothing immediately saying that Patrick and Eli has an abusive relationship. The most you can say is the part where like Patrick is the one who cooks. Yeah. And that's much less than what we get out of the Josh and Irish relationship, right? But like, you know, there's still that ambiguity of like, what if things change? Like, I am drawn to compare this to like the people who commit to be like trad wives and stuff like that, right? Where it's like, let's theoretically say you have met someone who we can all be like, yeah, he's a good guy. You are still putting yourself in a situation where if something changes, you are not the one with the power to do stuff about that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're interested in those questions at that point, though, because Eli gets shot like 10 seconds later, right? I think their point is like they're trying to look at like the ideal as like crystallized in amber, because it is cut short before like it's sort of like before cracks can start to form.
Yeah, I think it's interesting too, right? Because like Eli is not a good guy in this movie, right? Like he is in on the plan to do all of this.
No. They get him in like when they show him the money,
but he's still like, yeah, I'll take $4 million to throw an innocent woman under the bus.
Yeah,
which like, listen, that's a lot of money, but I still think we can conclude you are doing like an evil thing.
Yeah.
So I think it's interesting to compare that too, because like, I don't know, I I like media that still lets evil people potential have like real emotions. You
Yeah.
know?
And like I think like to sort of dig down in this direction a bit further, right? The other thing that's like extremely prominent about like bad people is in this movie, it's just like their deep squeamishness, right?
Yes.
Because um like Eli and Josh are like, yeah, no, but you know, like it's just not done to like tell people they're a robot or whatever, or to do these sorts of things. Not and there's no like justification these people can give, right? Like Eli goes, yeah, but don't tell my boy that he doesn't count.
Yeah.
That we're supposed to like be circumspect about that. And he tries to leverage this for like 2 extra million in the negotiation.
I fucking love that scene because it's still unclear to me if he's just doing that so he can get a bigger share or if
I think so. To me that is entirely unambiguous. But yeah, no, like both Eli and Josh just like are very, very squeamish, right? And once more, drawing back on the well of Callister, Callister 2 specifically, right?
Yeah.
We have the scene where like a woman is being chased by a person who like we know like once like the flags are up that it's okay to be evil, just fucking loves blasting people. Much like Eli just fucking is like, I'm gonna get the big gun. That is the thing I want. Right? But like as soon as like those flags aren't up, right? Like just being yelled at a bit it like makes these people flinch. And that's right, and I think that is the movie that's to some extent just like the movie going like these people are just lying to themselves to a degree that is like extremely like disruptible with like the slightest like deviation from the plan. They go like, no, let's not be so hasty.
Yeah, like I think the thing that's like really correlates to me is this like this speech about how oh, I deserve the universe, I've been treated so poorly.
This is Josh at the end.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, we don't get anything else apart from the fact, like, I want to say he's a tech guy, but I actually don't know what he works as.
We don't know.
The only thing, I mean, he's the one who modded.
He knows how to download something from GitHub.
It might just
that
be a
is
USB.
probably what we're actually supposed to take away.
Yeah, maybe
Because he just has the USB stick. I don't.
I suppose his job is just straight up. Like not stated.
It's not good.
No, probably not.
It's a one apartment and the rent on a robot job.
Yeah, I mean, he might be working 80 hours a week, dude.
No, he doesn't strike me as
I don't think he would. But no, like, I think it's really interesting because, like, I don't know, I just, like...
we know he's a gamer.
That's true, yeah, they mentioned he
It's
likes
his only stated interest. He's a gamer and he talks too much.
It was like fucking surgical precision on that one. But yeah, like just like this idea of like people, you know, sitting like incels sitting behind their screens talking about how like, oh yeah, like if there was an apocalypse, I'd be a fucking Mongol warlord with a harem, and you're just like,
you don't know how to ride a horse, first of all.
He's just like, I dish so many fucking issues with that, but like you sure can fantasize about that. You sure can fantasize about how you're the one who deserves everything, and you're just born in the wrong time, and how women should, you know, bow at your feet and whatnot. But like, you know, the reality is that you're just kind of pathetic.
Yeah.
You know, you live in the present moment. You can make something out of yourself. It's hard, but you can. But you're not. Like, that's just the reality of the situation here.
Yeah. But, you know, like...
Or you could respect women and, like, have an actual relationship, but that's not really what these people are interested in.
Like these robots, like, if you... First of all, there's just like a CinemaSins angle where if you just turn the intelligence up all the way, like they're Harvard grad level or whatever smart,
Yeah.
which is like, first of all, that's at least I think intended to mean smarter than most regular people, like the top 1% or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's like surely able to make more money than you.
Yeah.
But I don't think the movie like intends for that to be an angle. But
Yeah,
like
I mean, I think, like, if I'm gonna un-CinemaSins this for a moment, they mentioned that there's a lot of regulations about how smart you can make someone, and I wouldn't be surprised if just, like, also you just can't have these people work in, or you can't have robots work in people fields.
but again, like, not the point, but, just, like, straightforwardly, just, like, like, take for a moment out the, like, the part where these machines have personhood. Just like if you are, and Josh clearly is, okay with employing a domestic slave.
Yeah. Domestic sex slave, we should note.
Like if you can morally square that, and he so clearly can.
Oh yeah.
Like you come home from work and you're good, right? Like he can afford video games. Like, I'm sorry your apartment isn't bigger, but like what do you need, man? Like, you don't need to cook, you don't need to clean. Like, if you can fucking get over yourself, you can have a conversation with someone who loves you and is smarter than you. Like, just like, I think just like the pure like impetuousness of going like, well, yeah, but you know, having the like perfectly customizable, brilliant robot in my life, you know, I think I'm just still very unfulfilled, right? Like, the issue isn't with the world, like, the issue is also with the world, but like, there's a lot of issue with you that you could start with.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think this goes into our proud tradition of, like, technology is not the cause of all of our problems, right? Like,
Yeah.
and, like, I think this one is kind of interesting. Like, I remarked a little bit about the, like, well, because, like, I think fundamentally what it's about is, like, at some point you're in that situation and you might start thinking, like, this is a bit unfulfilling. But, like I think this is genuinely, like, an interesting look into a certain like neuroses that affects a certain group of like conservative men, right? That are like, I want to have essentially a slave. I want to have essentially a sex slave, but that's not like a real human connection. Like, there is a part of your morality that will struggle against that,
Yeah.
somewhere deep inside of you, and you don't want that either.
Yeah.
And there's only so much you can dress that up as, right?
Yeah, and like I think like that's the like, and I think like actually reading Josh as someone who doesn't have all these compunctions is misreading the movie, right? Because the actual reason that surely he must feel unfulfilled is just that he has these contradictions he is unable to resolve because he is unwilling to save them.
Yeah, I think
to face them.
I think the interesting thing about Josh is we don't actually get the source of his dissatisfaction. We just see that the way he is trying to cope with that dissatisfaction is non-functional.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we do not get to see, hey, this is the trauma that originates, like, all of your sadness, or like, this particular issue in your life is why you're not satisfied. It is just saying, there is something like that somewhere, and he has chosen to pursue the worst possible path to try to solve that.
Yeah, no, I think I saw like a while ago like a minor conversation about like what it takes to be a good person. Right? And sort of the theory that was being proposed is that like the actual thing that is like so much of the problem is just like people just taking the easy option at like every turn, and never willing to like endure a bit of hardship to like for like extremely obvious like moral benefits. And like I was, and my personal thought is like I don't think it is actually like in some harder to be a good person. 'Cause like going like I should probably think about my relationship with this robot before I go completely insane. Or even like a few weeks having like, I'm sensing some tension in myself. Maybe I should introspect, right? And perhaps the benefit of that might be that you don't get murdered by a robot.
Moral of the story.
A year down the line. So my personal belief, within and without this movie is, I think that, like, it's not harder to be a good person, like, in some. It's just, like, doing the work a bit earlier than it is absolutely necessary.
Well, I think, for me personally, I would say it's like two things. I think growing up with a certain amount of privilege leads you an extremely easy escape on where to put the blame, right? Like when stuff goes wrong in your life. I think that's, and like I think that's what ties into like the entitlement of this episode, or of Josh specifically. I called it an episode. Oh my god, we're so stuck in Black Mirror. This movie. I think the other part is like the world is kind of a bad place right now, and this is alluded to with the like, oh, like I only have like a single bedroom apartment or whatever, and that's also like a convenient scapegoat, right?
Yeah,
I think that's the like the kind of like two for combo here, right? Like, and I think this is like one of those things behind like driving so many like young men to be like, how be so receptive, I suppose, to like the constant propaganda of like, oh, if things were like in the past, things would be so much better because you just got to have women as slaves, basically.
Yeah, well, yeah, and I think like this also just ties into these ideas about like needing to have resistance in your life.
Yes,
because like part of like the sort of moral rot that this movie is interested in, and that we've become like quite interested in, is like people who are given more and more options to at every turn avoid pushback, avoid any challenge, and just go like, hey, I'm going to do the like morally compromised easy thing here, instead of like just being faced with like actual resistance, right? And I think that is something like this movie sort of like has lurking in the background, right? Because like Josh at every turn goes, I would fucking love to have a robot do this instead of me.
I think I would even take that further, and like specifically like pulling it in a bit. I think this is a genuinely important piece of like maturing romantically, right?
Yeah.
Like I think having relationships, or just friendships for that matter, like interpersonal relationships that have difficulties, is how you grow to learn how to deal with those difficulties, and learn that like, hey, my partner will not always cook for me. This is a big one.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, my partner will not just take care of me.
It's not that hard to learn to cook.
It really is not.
Like it takes a little, like, the big thing it takes is just, like, being okay with just, like, being embarrassed for a bit.
Yeah. Just listen. Pick a food thing and put it in boiling water, and, like, it'll be edible. For the most part. Yeah. Like, that's where you can start. But, like, seriously, I think that this is, like, an interesting, like, part of that. May I indulge for a moment in something that gets slightly too close to CinemaSins, but isn't quite there. Okay.
You've got my interest.
I've got a weird thing about media that shows people complaining about their economy, but also they have a robot. You know?
Oh, sorry, their finances.
Their finances, yeah, sorry. Like, this shows up in Detroit Become Human. Sorry, spoilers. Where there's, like, genuinely a person who's just, like, one of the early antagonists is a abusive father, like, middle-aged man who is like, oh, I can't afford anything, and he has 2 domestic robots. And, like, And I'm going to take this one step further. I'm going to take it to Deus Ex. I'm going to take it to the modern Deus Ex games. Because there's a very interesting pitch in, I think primarily like the first of the new Deus Ex games, where essentially like part of it is like, hey, poor people who have like superhuman bionics, that's kind of the same thing. And I go, no. Like, I this is not that important for this movie, but there's still like a strangeness to the idea that like why is this sort of stuff associated with the poor or like the middle class? Like this is obviously a luxury, which is like part of what makes, and like again, this does not ruin this movie or anything, but it makes the like part where Josh is like, I can barely afford a 1-room apartment, and I'm like, yeah, but you could have, like, yes, you're saying you're renting this robot girlfriend. It is still, you have gained a conscious being, and you're like, oh, my finances fucking suck. I mean, what are you doing?
I'm so broke. I can only afford to hire one permanent Harvard grad.
like that's I don't know why. I think it's my interest in cyberpunk in general that makes me go, this is not what the analogy should be. Clearly, like, the people who are gonna own these things are the people who are really rich.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think this movie is not that interested in the robot. I think this movie is primarily interested in gender.
Yeah.
But
I think like I think even there, like, finances are an interesting element, right? Like there's a point to be made that like even today women earn less than men, so like there's financial incentive to be in relationships with men. And to not break up with them when they're abusive, especially like if you
alternatively, financial incentive to never have children, because in a lot of Western countries, women full parity with men until children come along.
That too.
Which that's very similar, but also you gotta think like realistically, once you get past that age and just don't have children, you're probably still gonna face some extra hurdles because, oh man, women are still in the workforce. Oh, you're probably gonna have kids soon.
Yeah,
but yeah, no. But to because I do think that is something to like highlight about this movie. Like, it's not like properly sci-fi. It's just like, hey, we're using robots to investigate this idea. However, there is something in here about like, and I hesitate to speak the words free will, because like, Patrick and Iris are like at the core of their being defined by like this burning, painful, like fixated love.
Yeah.
For another person who's not that great.
Yeah.
Which like I do think that is like part of the fantasy, right? Like that is being sold by this sort of robot company.
Absolutely. It's the freedom of having someone love you more than you love them.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, that's really depressing to say, but like I think that there's like a point to this, right? Like it's the same way we commented on it, that like Josh has set her intelligence level to be just a little bit below average. Yeah. Not like to the point that it's super noticeable or anything, but like just putting it down there a bit, so that you know that you are always the one who is just a bit more capable in the relationship, just a bit freer.
And you gotta wonder if she's actually any lower than him, because he makes some extremely obvious blunders.
Yeah.
And such as going like, oh, yeah, no, this robot probably isn't tracking anything. Also, just like, this is just a straight up, this is a DewatchPod sins ding. Doing the old, hey, you've read the terms and conditions, right? Like, retire that joke. It sucks. I hate it.
I do not have a strong feeling on that. I'm sorry, but like I can support that desire. Yeah.
But yeah, no, and I think it all more or less plays into like the slave fantasy that's sort of underlying this, right? Because it's like, yeah, no, like that's ultimately the power uh, like they hold. It's the power of like of being loved without condition, and
Yeah.
uh what a fucked up thing to like implant in a living creature.
Yeah. I mean, like, I think, like, even I think there's like interesting horror aspects of this that just like you don't have to do any analogy to the real world. Like, I think it's just like throwing that concept out there is like that's bone chilling, you know.
Yeah,
And it's essentially eldritch. Like, this is not something we can currently access, but man, that's
I mean, isn't it though?
to what extent?
I don't know. I think that is just like um a little like it is one of the more like like I think that is just in the like cultural concept of love, right? To be like, yeah, it's usually unconditional actually, and that doesn't tend to be true, but it's not like entirely off the board, right? And like I think it's rarely interrogate how like alien that is to like, and I do think like it's something that is like somewhat accessible to like the human mind to go like, yeah, no, this it's just like this is unconditional actually. um
In that
because
sense, yeah.
like I guess to like have the um to have like a very real analogy, right? Like parents whose children are just like fucking evil, like,
Yeah.
and who still go like, I mean, I, I guess I'm still going to be there for this person that I still love, and I'm really not keen on
Yeah.
doing that, having this be the way of things because I would like them to be better, but this is.
I mean, like, that's I think that's what I was talking about earlier too. Is like the reality of the emotions of domestic abuse, right? That this idea that like I should not still care for this person. Like, I just like objectively they have done harm to me, and yet I do. And
Yeah,
what's up with like genuinely like kind of like a that's kind of horrifying to me, and that's the state in some ways.
yeah, no, I mean, I think it, like, and this is why I think it's like interesting, like within the concept of, like within the like context of like free will, right? Like, like you like free will is a very um difficult concept to get use out of, but this is sort of like the 101 version of like, hey, what if just like there's a switch in your brain that is screwed into a setting, and does not go away from, oh yeah, no, I love this person no matter what, right? And this is like one of the lines we have like early on in setting up, um, like Patrick and Iris's like actual like sincere affection. Like, yeah, no, I'm going to make whatever it fucking takes to make this person happy.
Yeah.
And like, sure, like yes, that is more or less the sales pitch of the company, more right. But it is also like, it's not real. It's not something people don't experience.
Yeah.
And that's not like that's more eldritch than we usually sort of in the romantic conception like think about. Um, and like to sort of like, and this movie to like leans a little bit into like romantic like dramedy comedy grammar at times as well, and I think that's like one of the very interesting contributions, because like in a like in a it depends on the like piece, but like this is also something that gets like problematized in like some like more like ambitious romantic stories, talking about like, I don't know if the person I love is good.
Yeah.
um
Or like I don't know if being with this person who I genuinely love is good for me.
yeah,
Like even without the abuse angle, there are just like
yeah,
situations where that comes up in people's lives.
yeah, and like that's, and I think like there like in art there are different answers to this, right? And sometimes the answer is like, well, like what's the point of freedom? Like maybe identity is like worth having, even maybe identity, when you cannot change it, like gains another form of intrinsic value, right? Like maybe like being a loving parent, like sure, it's fun and games when your child rules, but maybe there's still value in it when your child is like struggling,
Yeah.
right? And like I don't want to take this to like the extremes of like haha serial killer or whatever, because I think that sort of like gets away from the point. But who's to say what those people feel?
Yeah, I mean, like the worst person you've ever met in your life has had parents,
Yeah.
and statistically, those parents have probably loved their child.
Yeah, and statistically, even more, like someone has loved them.
Yeah.
Probably. But yeah, no, but I think like this movie sort of falls on the reverse, where it's like, and I think we're not given to understand this explicitly, but I don't think we're ever given to understand that Iris like can like turn off that switch, that she can stop loving Josh, but she can like make the executive decision to like tear his brains out with a corkscrew.
Yeah.
And like I think that is like a very interesting alternate notion of freedom from like or notion of freedom as opposed to identity, right? Where like being like having like a lack isn't necessarily like a bad thing, right? Like
A lack of identity, or
just like something inside of like like loving a dead person who you killed because he was evil.
Yeah.
Right? Like having that like as a core of your being, like maybe that's okay. Maybe there's value in like having grappled with that and having come out as, you know what, corkscrew.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think to me, like, this is very familiar to me about the idea that, like, you are not your emotions.
Yeah, and I think, like, I'm sort of drawing on this in particular because very recently I was listening to something about a philosopher's work on alienation, and this philosopher was like, I know, alienation, it can be a good thing, like it's something that drives us. It's also just like, hey, maybe you don't want to be part of the group all of the time. Maybe like feeling that distance, like, it's a form of freedom. Maybe that's something it's worth choosing sometimes.
What you're saying is, if you're in a relationship, you should still have your own life.
That is part of it, right?
I mean, I think that there's some genuine truth to that.
Yeah.
Here.
And I think like this is a very radical form of like, you know what? Like breaking with like a radical reinvention, like may never like feel as like whole or complete, but like maybe feeling whole is like for suckers. Maybe feeling whole is what keeps you chained to like a like annoying gamer who just wants to kill you.
Well, it's
or
like,
use you as a murder weapon.
you know, there's a quote out there about closure being invented by Hollywood, and I think there's a little bit to that, in the same sense of like, life is complicated, and if you're looking for a world where everything is simple, the solutions you will find to make those two things mesh will not be particularly good most of the time.
Yeah, no, and maybe you'll end up like fucking Josh, going like, yeah, no, I would like a simple solution to this complex problem. I would like to be told that everything can be good. I would like to purchase a sex robot whose like agency I will be prodded to consider but never do consider, because that would make me face some things.
Yes.
Don't be Josh.
Don't get into a relationship with ChatGPT. Like, I the more we've done this podcast, the more I think that is the fundamental thesis of this podcast is. You know?
Yeah, no, that's other things also.
No, it's mostly the ChatGPT relationship thing, to be honest.
Yeah, no, but I think it's a bit tough to pull like one single thing out of this movie, because it's like sweeps across quite a few things.
Yeah, I think it's interested in, like, just experiencing misogyny and domestic abuse, you know? If that makes sense.
Yeah, and it's
Like,
interested in why women shouldn't be treated like robots and how they are sometimes.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I think even we don't get super much about this in this movie, but I think it still hints to like how relationships are framed and how like the sacrifices you're expected to make for them, and life is complicated, but there's some sacrifices you just should not make.
Yeah.
You know?
And some sacrifices that may seem big, but you know, like, what's a corkscrew between friends?
And I suppose that is where we can leave off with Companion 2025.
Yeah. Thank you for listening.
What do we have next week, Jorgen?
Oh, that's a great question. Let me think. It is probably Spike Jonze's Her.
Okay. I feel like Her has been on our list of potential follow-ups to like when we're done with the Black Mirror seasons.
Yeah.
For quite some time. So I will be interested in finally pulling off that Band-Aid.
Yeah, it's been in the culture.
It certainly has. But until then, thank you, Jorgen. Thank you, Podcast, for being very chill and cute. Yeah. And thank you, Guillermo, for being the best boy.
Not in this movie, but in the other one.
Well, I mean, he's in the upper half of goodness and characters, which is a very low bar here.
Yeah. But thank you for listening, and see you on the other side.
See you next week.